Sandie here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be scrapbooking these two photos from Haunted Mansion Holiday in Disneyland, and I'm playing with this Slimline Stencil and the August stamp of the month from Brutus Monroe. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to grab some purple tape and just apply it to my stencil to hold it in place on the cardstock. And yes, I did say purple tape. In our family, we call purple purper, so it just comes out. Now I am going to use my Pink and Main blending brushes. You can definitely order these on the site to just blend in a couple of colors of ink. So I have a lighter green and I also have a darker green. I'm not really thinking about this. I don't have any kind of rhyme or reason as to where the ink is going to go, but I do rub off my blending brush into my microfiber towel from Brutus Monroe, and as you can tell, I love using that for this thing. I also ordered a blending brush scrubber that I have not used yet, so I definitely need to make that happen. Now my plan is to cut out these stenciled areas, so I'm not worried about the over ink that comes off. So as you can see, you pull off the stencil and the magic happens. So you guys, embossing and stenciling are magic to me. I know that there's, I know it's plastic. I know that it's Mylar, it's covering it up. I get that. But when you just reveal that stencil and you can see the ink and the color that's left behind, it just makes me so happy. Now these are the mini Pink and Main blender brushes. So as you saw, the one I did with green was large. The one that I'm doing with this kind of yellowy orange colors are smaller. Again, I'm wiping the excess ink off into my microfiber towel, and then I'm just going to go ahead and continue to rub some ink on over top of my stencil. And I did the lazy thing. I did not actually go clean my stencil in the sink with soap or water. I just used my microfiber towel to rub that off too. Now one day when I have my dream craft area, I will have a sink in it with some nice hard floors, no carpet. But until that time, I'm probably just going to be lazy. Like, who am I kidding, you guys? If I ever get my dream craft room where there's a sink in it, I'm probably still going to use my cloth to wipe off my stencil. I mean, let's just be serious. Now here is the stamp of the month, and it is an adorable jack-o'-lantern with a witch hat and a cute spider. I felt like I needed to make that known that the spider is cute. I am just popping a piece of white cardstock into my MISTI, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this bad boy. Now it is the first time I am using this stamp, so I did rub the stamp on my arm. That just kind of like preps the stamp a little bit. Basically the oils from your arm kind of get the stamp material ready to take ink. You can also do the same thing by stamping it with an embossing ink pad or using like a white eraser and erasing over the stamp itself. Like I said, lazy, I just rub it on my arm. Now I did go ahead and ink up two of these bad boys, and just look how beautiful this Raven detail ink works. So I am a super fan of the Raven detail ink. It just works. It's just good stuff. It gets into finely detailed stamp images. It's just good stuff. So I really enjoy it. Now, like I said, I did stamp out two of them because I thought I was going to use two of them. I ultimately only end up using one jack-o'-lantern, but now I have a stamped image ready for the next time. Now I am going to trim down my 4x6 photos just down to 5 3/4, and that way I can use this 6x6 Galaxy paper pad, and it will be easy for me to have my photos on there. So when your papers and your photos are the same exact size, something's got to give. You either figure out something with the photo mats, or you trim your photos down a little bit. And that 1/4 inch that I'm trimming off the photos isn't really hurting anything. I'm not losing anything from my photo. Now, if there was a time where I had something so important in my photo that I couldn't trim it down, then I would not use this technique. I would not use the 6x6 paper. Or I might double up the 6x6 and do like a messy stack of mats or something like that. But in this case, not a problem whatsoever. I do grab some markers to just do some really basic coloring on this. I'm not doing any shading. I'm not doing anything like that. I am just testing out the markers to see which color is going to go where. The most creative coloring I do is under the brim of the hat. I do that as a darker green. So like I said, no shading, no nothing. I am not a color artist by any means. I love to color. It is definitely a fun thing, but I'm not an artist with it. And if I'm doing coloring in my scrapbooking, it's going to be very basic coloring like this. And I'm okay with that, you guys. I am okay with it. I think sometimes we look at these beautiful color artists and we're like, I'll never be able to color like that, or I don't want to spend the time practicing to be able to color like that, so I'll never have anything colored in my scrapbooks, or I won't color cards, or I won't color in a traveler's notebook. But really, like, do your thing. If basic coloring like this makes you happy, and like, I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem why you can't put basic coloring on a card, or why you can't put basic coloring in your scrapbook. Makes me happy, so I'm going to do it. Now, I do cut this out. I am using the very sharp scissors from Brutus Monroe to do this. I do leave just a little tiny bit of a white border, and it's just a little tiny bit because I am not going in there and fussy cutting out all those little curly cues. I'm not going to do it, you guys. Fussy cutting is something that I enjoy, but doing that would stress me out. And, scrapbooking is my happy time. It brings me my joy. I am not going to do something that's going to screw around with that. I'm just not going to do it. Now, I do kind of slice the orange one here, just so I can spread it apart. I wanted a little bit more of the stencil to show, and nobody's going to know, except for you guys, that piece of paper has been sliced in half and stretched. Now, originally I was going to have this be on the left-hand side, but I feel like a lot lately I have a lot of layouts that are on the left-hand side heavy. And since I don't scrapbook completely chronologically anymore, that really isn't a problem because it will be in various albums, and it will be within those albums, they'll be on various pages. But like I said, I was feeling I was doing an awful lot of left scrapbooking lately, so I wanted to change it up. So I kind of centered it with the photos going off to the right because I was thinking of having my title go along that green stencil bit. And then you saw my hand move because that helps me visualize what's going to be on the page before it's there. Now, that was great. I was thinking this was going to be perfect. I could visualize the title in my head. I had no idea what the title was going to be, but I could visualize it. And then I just popped up that little colored guy on some foam squares and put him down here at the bottom. Now, I wanted to kind of turn my stenciled rectangles into tags. And I'm not exactly sure why I wanted to do this. I really have no idea because I'm looking at this now and I'm like, why did you turn that into a tag, Sandie? I am not going to give it a tag hole, but as you guys know, tag holes deserve to be covered. They don't need to be naked. And then I decide, I feel like this white border needs a little outline. So I take a black pen and I just do a messy, kind of sketchy border where the end of the color for the stencil goes. And I like it. I definitely think it adds a little bit to it. And then I apply a little dollop of wet glue and I get my bows on top of here, and voila, we now have 2 tags instead of 2 panels. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to figure out the title now. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I go through my stash. I find this currently in my sticker stash, and I'm like, yeah, well, I can do something with this. Currently something. So I have to figure that out. But I did not I like the color. I thought the color was a great match. It definitely felt right. But I didn't like it vertically on the stencil panel. So I decided to put it over top of the Oogie Boogie photo. And that character in the photo is Oogie Boogie if you guys are not Nightmare Before Christmas fans. And then I grabbed some more sticker letters from my stash. So my title is going to be Currently Haunted. Because this is Haunted Mansion Holiday, where the stars of Nightmare Before Christmas overtake the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. So now that I've moved it back over a little bit to the left and the design of the layout is basically centered on the page, I'm feeling pretty good. Now I pulled out my white pen because I was thinking about doing a sketchy outline outside of the entire layout. I figured I did it on the panels, it would look good on the layout as well. However, I decided not to do that. I decided to just leave it as a complete solid black background, but I do go into my stash and pull out a little spooky Brad with a skull and crossbones and pop it down there where my little stamped image is. So I pop him onto the page, and then I always washi tape the back of my layouts where the brad tines poke through because I want to protect my layout from any kind of scratching or brad movement when I'm moving layouts inside and out of my albums. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you can get notifications when videos go up, and I will see you again real soon for another video.